Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Schmoedown Night in Canada. As per usual, I am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined once again by my good friend Taco. How you doing?
Cool. Good day, eh? Here to talk about the Schmoedown.
Yeah,
And we got a special guest, with Jacoby Bancroft. What's up?
Hey, good. I don't know about special guests, but I'm here and I'm excited to hang out with you guys. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
yeah,
Yeah.
anytime, man. And let's just hop right into it. Congratulations on the win.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was insane. Like I was
Yeah.
watching that match. I was surprised, and it was an amazing experience. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So how did that feel to get your first match off your chest?
Oh man, first match. It was building up, I guess, for so long, right? So it's just like because after through the process of being drafted and then preparing for the match, and then getting your first match, and then all the way up to that first question, I was just like a nervous wreck, right? I was just like so nervous, and it was just like nonstop thinking about it, like, oh gosh. I was super afraid I would go, 0 for 8 in that first round. I'm like, please just let me get the first question right? Like that's like the mindset I wanted to be. It's like just get the first question right, and then anything else after that is going to be okay. And then I just built off that momentum. So, but now that it's over and done with, and I can move on to the next thing, I'm excited.
You thought you were gonna possibly go 0-8, but you got a dewberry instead. You went perfect.
I was surprised too. Yeah, so I was like, I'll take it. Like that was great. The questions just were in my wheelhouse for that first round, so I was very fortunate. Because playing along with, I'll admit, playing along with some of the other beginning matches that aired before mine, throughout the schedule stuff. Like I haven't gone perfect all the time. I've been perfect some of the times, but there's some I get 6 or 7. I think one time I went 5. So it was just like, which questions am I going to get today? And I'm just thankfully it worked out. Yeah, and I had to because Blunden was such a strong opponent too. Because because he's really good.
Yeah, no, you both nailed it out of the park. So as one of the Fan League 4, was there a difference between a Fan League match and this?
Oh, I would say more. There's a lot of pressure on this one, I guess, just because all eyes. I knew that would be on me. That the audience that would be watching this one would be a little bit larger than the audience in the fan leagues. It doesn't make the desire to win any different because in the fan leagues or so, it's like I want to win just as bad as I wanted to win this match and everything like that. But knowing that how many people would be watching me and commenting after the match, like afterwards and all the chats that what happens whenever a rookie, debuts or anyone debuts or anyone plays for that matter. I was nervous about that. And I had to anticipate that and be in that mindset because that's probably the biggest switch.
Even knowing that you played as good as you did, like you were still nervous about it dropping. Like if you did really bad, I'd understand, but I'd be like, watch this, guys. Like I'd be pumped to show how good you did. Like
even then, I was just maybe I was thinking it was just like, oh god, did I win this match? Like did I do well? Because while you're playing the match, you kind of get into this zone, right? Like you're focused, you're willing, you don't know. It's like, oh wow, I'm doing really well in the moment there. And even after it sounds like, yeah, I won, but it's like how good I ended up doing. Luckily, was not really a huge factor after I played the match and during the match. But then seeing the reaction now of just all the stats and the reaction to it, it's like, oh, that was a good match from both of us. That was a really good debut match for two great rookies, and that's what was unfortunate to play someone as good as Jacob in my first match. I have no doubt, like Jacob could easily contend for a belt. I just know his knowledge is there, and I know he's going to be that good, and I just know our paths are going to cross again sometime in the future, and I'm scared of that, and I can't wait for that.
So what was your mindset going into the final round there?
The final round, I think the final round I was up by 1 point, right? I believe. I was up by 1 point. So then the mindset is that means absolutely nothing. 1 point is especially in that thing. I thought it was going to come down to the 5-pointer because that's a lot of what these matches do. And Jacob wasn't missing. He was hitting a lot of hard questions and everything like that. I just thought that his momentum was going to continue there. So going into it, I was just like, I knew it was like, all right, I'm gonna have to answer my 3 and my 5 as well as my 2. So that's I was convinced that was going to be the case.
Nice. So Go ahead.
Soda.
You go ahead. I'm actually looking something up real quick.
All right, yeah. Well, we're in the middle of the show, but go ahead and just look up whatever you want. Jeez. So they're working on his fantasy hockey league, but
checking his Amazon card or something.
No.
Just trying to make sure.
Term means because I got one of our other fellow schmoes actually sent me a stat that he wanted me to read on air. He says you scored 100% PPE in this debut, and you are one of only 6 in singles to do so, alongside Bateman, Oyama, Collins, Bibbs, Irwin, and Bancroft.
Yeah. Possible points earned. Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, I'm not a stats guy, so this is okay.
I had to learn that. But yeah, so accuracy opposed to possible points earned. So you could get every single question right, but if you went to multiple choice, that ruins your possible points earned and things like that. So if Bancroft answered all 3 in round 3, he still would have a lesser PPE because he went to multiple choice once. And no, you're Bancroft. Sorry, London went to multiple choice.
Our names are very similar. I know. Jacob,
I don't know why you guys had to play. Jacob and Jacoby. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
When you hear a stat like that, you're one of only 6 in Schmoedown history to do that, and you're alongside titans of the game. What is that? How does that compute?
Crazily, it doesn't really compute. And when I hear that stat, I do think that's a great stat. But listen, it's I'm very transparent and everything like that. I know that I only had to answer my 2-pointer. Things could have gone very differently if I had to answer my 3 and my 5, and I could have missed my 3, and I also could have missed my 5. So you just never know what could have happened. So hearing that stat, I don't think I'll ever be happy. Every time I hear that stat that you just said, I'll think I didn't really get a chance to actually prove myself to prove what I can do. If I do it again and go all the way to my 3 and my 5, then I will yeah, that's pretty good. But
so you want like a Damon DiMolante where you go all the way and then in the sudden death, and then you've scored all of it.
At that point, maybe I will start to consider thinking that, hey, maybe I could be good at this. So, we'll see.
So did you? I'm assuming you saw that match, right?
The Damon. Oh yeah.
What were your thoughts when they were entering into that crazy sudden death?
Well, Damon's in my faction, obviously, so it's just oh man. So I was obviously rooting for him, and I just knew that game up until that point, it wasn't a thing of oh, they're just missing. They both missed a question or so in round 2 or something like that, or both missed a speed round question. No, it's for it to be going perfect for so all the way up to that, and then going to sudden death, asking it for so long, was just a nail biting experience, especially when. Especially when when Damon is announced the winner, and then he challenges, and then comes back, and then everything like that is it's one of the most insane Schmoedown matches in history.
It's you finally get a chance to exhale, and then the match goes again. So you inhale again, take it all back.
That sucks. That does affect both competitors, I would say. I know it sucks that Damon, for the question that he missed, he knew it. He pulled it at the very last second, you saw him do it. But it's that's got to do something to a mindset, even as out dominant as a player as Damon is, to be announced the winner, and then you're I won. That's it. All that stress from the last hour is out, and all of a sudden, oh wait, no, I got to be back in the mindset. I got to keep going like that. It's just I could never do what what Alex does or DiMolante does or anything like that. Star Wars is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, Star Wars is crazy. I consider myself a really big Star Wars guy, and I can't answer crap in that league. But I'm all legends. Can we talk about the lightsaber forms, please?
Yeah, bring anything else in there instead of the we've asked about these 11 movies kind of a lot, so it's I feel like
can we talk about Darth Revan a little? Come on.
But yeah, to bring it back to your match. What was taping day like for you?
It was a lot of talking with Roxy, a lot of talking with my my faction overall to kind of just get me ready and to make sure I was in the right mind zone. I guess I was fortunate in terms of because the match on match day we shot in the afternoon, so it's I just had a little time to breathe and kind of think, and just okay, just get ready and get in the zone, as opposed to Blunden, who's 11 or 13 hours in the future.
Yeah, it was 9:30 a.m.
He's the next day.
Yeah, so
it was 4:00 for us, and it was 9:30 the next day for him.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just so I'm grateful that I just kind of had that time, and a lot of that day was spent again talking to Roxy. I talked to Roxy a lot. about the strategy, and it was really the first time because hey, Rue.
Hey, Robert Moses, what's up?
When I was in the fan leagues, I guess I was either with a partner, my friend Tony, who was more the strategy guy, just kind of showed up and answered questions, or it's like, or myself, just kind of showing up to have fun. But it's like for like these ones, you kind of have to strategize and think hardcore about. Okay, if I'm down in the first round, what am I going to? What am I going to spend first? Am I going to spend second? What do I want to give them on opponent's choice? What do I think their strengths are? What should I kind of focus, my attention on for in these last few hours? What do I want to cram? But Roxy just did a great job of checking in with me all throughout the day about how I'm doing, how just staying focused and just being calm and just always reminding me to have fun with it, because this was a big day. So I can't thank Roxy enough for everything she did to prep me during that day. And my faction came to play for like all the prep that they provided for me and everything they did to help me. So all around a good experience.
Is Roxy as good as head calmer as she comes off? Like, she just seems like somebody who can just level you quickly.
Absolutely. She's very straightforward and to the point, and she can definitely hype you up, but she won't BS you. I mean, like, about anything, which is great. She'll kind of help you be in that mindset and talk you through problems. It's like, okay, well, what are you thinking if we do this and this? And then she'll send like a text, just like of the conversation we have. It's all great. Good experience. I'm cool. I'm happy to have that in a manager. And I guess that was one of the big adjustments coming into, I guess, the stars and factions in the Schmoedown itself. Because we have our factions in the fan leagues as well. But the managers in the Schmoedown just are, it's crazy. Just what they do, what everyone does.
So when you first got drafted and you did your first session, was there any moment of like, oh my, like, was there like a starstruck moment or anything like that? Like, I'm actually part of this now, or
starstruck moment because I'm in the stars. And I see what you did there.
He's not that clever. Soda did not do that on purpose.
Not even on purpose.
A starstruck moment. It was one of our first study sessions, I guess, of just like, it wasn't like a starstruck moment, but it was a moment of just like, hey, we're all here, we're all studying hard, and we're all committed to this goal of building the stars to be the best faction that it can be this season, and kind of the growing pains of getting to know each other, and like, okay, like this is how we're going to help each other grow, and staying in that constant communication and setting up groups and everything like that. So it was an interesting, I guess, transition overall, but it's been a blast.
Right on.
Odd Couple just alone would starstruck me, just because Snyder's been one of my favorite players forever since he came in. But also I have an old school comic book love for Draco because I read Torso when I was like in high school, and it's one of the biggest graphic novels that like affected me. And if I ever met him, I'd be like, hey man, like you and 3 other comic book writers maybe want to be a comic book guy. Like, and so it'd be weird just that. Like, hey, I knew you before I ever saw you on the Schmoedown. What's up?
That's just crazy overall. But it's like watching again, like Jeff and Mark, as for players for so long, and all of a sudden being on a call with them. It's just and having them quiz you questions or quizzing them questions. It's just kind of a little bit surreal. It's just like okay, this is what we're doing now. This is just the life. It's like I gotta be cool. I gotta play it off. Like it's play it casual, but like inside I'm freaking out. So.
The closest thing I've had to that is when we did the Smash-a-thon, and I'm in the back room waiting to go on, and then there's Gucci, there's Bateman, there's Guy, and then me and Lou are in the back like messing each other like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no crap. What were you guys doing there? Jeez.
Getting up really early to raise money. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the Smash-a-thon. I was in. We went and visited my wife's grandparents and parents, and there was like a family tragedy. We were staying at a hotel, and I was watching so much of it at night in the bathroom, so I didn't wake up my wife and my daughter watching the Smash-a-thon until like 3 a.m. when I just shouldn't have.
Just quietly huddled in the corner in the darkness.
Yep, just sitting on the toilet seat, not opened, just like, this is the only place to watch this. Yeah, it was pretty great.
Commitment right there.
And then everyone's like, why are you so tired? I'm like, it's bad weekend.
Porn. No.
She doesn't ask me what I do in the bathroom anymore. We're happily married. Anyways, we got Jacoby here. What's up?
No, you guys keep doing your thing. I'm good.
So, what's next for Jacoby Bancroft in the Schmoedown? Like, is there a direction you want to go?
Winning more would be good. I would like that. More matches would be great. No, obviously the big thing that we have coming up, and then what I got to focus on completely is the teams tournament because I'm in that now.
And
with Janine the Machine, and it's been so great getting to know her and to become partners with her as we kind of work on our rhythm and finding out, the knowledge that, that both her and I know and how to collaborate and everything like that. And just getting to know her as a partner is like first and foremost, the kind of, I would say one of the most important things of having a trivia partnership. I think the best partnerships are people who know each other super well. So that's kind of been our goal. It's just, we've been talking a lot and just getting to know each other and chatting. It's like not always about movies, just about just life and becoming friends, just outside the Schmoedown. So that's like the first, I guess, the focus for that, because everything is being poured into the deception match, which is just, oh my God, this is going to be.
You guys must have got somebody mad to get them for your first match.
Yeah, looking at all those.
To piss somebody off.
Yeah, just the way that I see it is that Deception is like the number one seed, just because of ranking.
They're not rookies.
Yeah, they're not rookies. They're the only team that has the record, and since they're the only team, even though it's not really rankings, it's just how I see it. Is they're number one, which means we're the last of the seeding, which kind of is unfortunate that that's our first matchup. But it's kind of like exactly what I said with Blunden overall. It's like we're not scared of the match. We understand it's going to be a very tough match, and it's insane. It's going to be probably just the hardest thing. But in order to prove ourselves as a legit team, you got to go up against the legit players. You have to. That's exactly was my mindset going up against Blunden. I was terrified to face Blunden, but it's like, hey, if I want to make a name for myself in this league, then I gotta face the best players. So it's like I'm ultimately happy that that's how it went. And I think after all the fear subsides for the teams tournament, I'm going to be happy that we got a chance to play them and to try to topple them, because if we do, that's going to be the greatest. That's going to be the greatest underdog story ever. So either way,
Have the Odd Couple, how have they been in helping you prepare for the teams tournament? Like, I mean, that must be a great advantage having the teams champs on your faction.
Absolutely. No, I mean, they've been a great help in quizzing, in questions, and in everything like that. And it was even Mark Andraco who was kind of telling us, it's like, don't just focus on getting to know, just on just studying, right? Like, get to know each other. Like, and he was the one who's just like work together and just learn, because like once you know the rhythms of each other like a little bit more, and then you have an idea of what that person knows and everything like that, and that just makes you a much stronger team. So both on the trivia aspect and just the building of a team aspect, it's been great, because the Odd Couples is probably one of the best examples of just two mismatched players who came together and learned how to like work together in such a great way. My favorite moment, I think, in the Schmoedown, so just a very little moment, one of my favorite moments is when they were playing. It was like one of their later matches, so it was in studio, and then like their round two happened, and as soon as they spun the wheel, they turned their chairs and they looked at each other, and it was such a great moment of just like, okay, we are not focusing on the other people. It's when we hear the question, it's you and I talking together in order to figure it out, because I can't remember if the match before that they had like a little bit of just growing pains in terms of answering beforehand. But that's just what Roxy always stresses is talk with each other and communicate. No matter what, always be communicating with your partner. And so that's just been the lessons that they've kind of instilled onto us. So hopefully we can use that to topple deception.
I feel like you really got to get that nonverbal communication down, because you can't rely on your partner to say, hey, I'm struggling. You can't, because not everyone's going to say that. Not everyone's going to voice. So you really just have to be able to look into their eyes and be like, you don't got this, do you? Or, hey, you're close, or what? Or trust them. Like, if somebody goes, I think it's this, you need to be able to go like, I can tell by your look that you really think it's that. Let's go with that.
Yeah, and establishing that trust in that person of just like if two people just if we have different answers or so, but she just seems super confident about, and I'm not, and like say if we had two answers and she's super confident and I'm not that confident, but I have a guess and her thing is different. It's learning to just trust your partner, because that's just like what you got to do. You have to be like, you know what you know it. It seems like I see it in your eyes, exactly what you said. So let's use your answer and send it, and I trust you, type thing. Absolutely.
So, say you're going to win the first match. Out of the other two teams on your side of the bracket, Danger Zone and Midterms, is there a preference in who you would like to play? Are you not thinking about that right now? You're just focusing on the match at hand in front of you.
It's hard. It's like you got to focus on the match at hand because you can't think too much above it. But I guess like right now, if I had to think of like how it's tough because I don't want to count out Midterms because it's Zipper and
Jonathan Harris.
Yeah, Jonathan Harris, and they're really good players. Like they really are, and I could see them easily coming out on top just because the way the matches are structured. Stuff, if you spin a good category and you take it, it's like you can do it, and the other team spins a bad category. Anyone can win any match. It doesn't really matter who you are. But I think narratively, if we beat Deception and then we beat Danger Zone. That's just the best thing ever. Then I can retire like after just that. It's like I don't even care. Like I can just be done.
You also got to look at Midterms wouldn't be the normal Midterms. Like right now, if you're looking at them just the way they are, but if they beat Danger Zone, they're all of a sudden a completely different team, and that changes narrative so much. Where you're like, well, these are the Giant Slayers. Like now, everyone's looking at them as the guys who killed the big guys. Like it changes
exactly. So now I guess I can't. I guess I can't root for them to win because we want to be known as the Giant Slayers. So it's like we got to beat Deception. So then the other team has got Danger Zone's got to win. So the Midterms don't steal our thunder when we do it.
Yeah, I fear I said too much. I'm getting into your head. Sorry.
I'm thinking that when we shoot the match, it's just like, oh god, Taco. Or just
He's gonna be like in Tommy Boy with just.
And I'm like, no, he's on my fantasy league. I don't want to mess with them.
you want me to do good?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, drafted you really high, and you're on the team, or you're on my team that's doing really bad. So help me out.
Oh, good.
But I got JT on that one too, so I did good this week.
Okay, good. But, good.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks,
so
by the way.
Question for you for our guest Taco, or?
Does he want to hang around as we get into our next match, or no?
Yeah, if you're free for another few minutes, you're more than welcome to stay until you need to pop off.
Yeah, sure. So the next match, because I'll admit I haven't. You can spoil it. I just haven't seen the JTE Ben Goddard match yet.
Well, we'll do the other one
after you.
Okay, cool.
So the first match of the week was Beth May versus Jess Sloth. Is that
Sloth?
Sloth? Yeah.
I want to say it's Sloth.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I think it just had a little bit massive tongue malfunction there. So yeah, for the first all-rookie match of the week of two, what were you guys' thoughts on the match?
A lot of singles match this week, for one. We didn't get any mixture. It was all singles. And that's cool. I had no idea about either of these. I don't know if I've ever read their names or anything about both of these players. And I was like super like, okay, let's go, let's watch this match. Right away with the promo, Beth May made me, oh my god, she's great. Like I was like, I love her immediately. Just in her promo of how goofy, how weird. Like that's her name, right? Beth May?
Yeah, Beth May. So you didn't see.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Remember Oath when you're saying her name.
Oath and then, slow.
So you didn't see, Taco, any of the audition videos that she did when she was first kind of coming in and trying to make her name for herself? Because I think Beth May is absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, and she's also got a Dungeons and Dragons podcast called Dungeons and Daddies. That is so funny. She's playing a middle-aged parent, father. Yeah,
I love her so much. No, I consider myself rather active in the Facebook group. Like I'll do polls every once in a while, and I try to cover it. I must have just missed her because I had no clue who she was, and but I was blown away by her promo. Yeah. It was great, and it was a nice juxtaposition because the other one was like complete opposite with like. Yeah, I hope I win, yay. Yeah. Beth May was like all energy.
I know. I love the pairing with each other because I think there was both so much to like about each competitor. I just think because I just love Beth May's personality. She's hilarious. Her timing is perfect, and she's great. If she can And I know she didn't kind of pull off, the win today, but if the questions go her way next time, then she can be a real force. And then Jess, on the other hand, is just I like that type of personality. You can tell she's nervous, but she wants to win. Like, she was dedicated, and she was focused, and I'm just so excited to see what comes next for her. So both of these ladies, I think, just did a great job.
Yeah, every once in a while, it is refreshing to have that type of personality like Jess, because now we're so much into characters and what have you that everyone's kind of like rah rah like Beth May was, which was great. But it is nice to have the more reserved characters every once in a while. They're just like, hey, I'm here, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's win. That's because and they're just inherently faces. I'm sure they can spit daggers like if they want to, and those are my personal favorite characters. I like the faces more than the heels. It's like I've never really been the heel aspect of anything. So it's just like I like the energy both of them brought. Yeah.
I just like really developed characters, heel or not. Like, I always say Mankind, or just him in general, was always my favorite wrestler, but he always came off as a heel, even though he was playing like a deranged guy with one ear. He always wanted to root for him. He was never a jerk, at least from the little bit I watched. And that's always my favorite of the guys who have really developed characters, like Lon Harris, but they're not hateable. They're really lovable. And but still, Jess, what I liked about her, I hope I don't mess up names, but you can't mix up, like, confuse timidness with, like, not good. Just because you're not outspoken. Yeah, none of you guys are saying that, but just because you're not outspoken, that's almost more scary. Is if she's, like, holding it in. She's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Headshot. Oh, oops, did I accidentally shoot you in the head? Oh,
yeah, look at it. Like, I'll be very. That's the type of gameplay that just I love. It's like kind of unsuspecting, right? It's like you can come in like a lot of like the rookies have, just like, I'm the best rookie that's this season. I'm going to win belts. I'm going to destroy
a lot of people.
And then, but that a lot of them do that, and so that's not the way I play, and that's not the way Jess plays, obviously, and that's great. So that's why, since when you play like that, it's like you don't really know what they know. Like they could have just this untapped depth of knowledge that you don't even know. So again, it's just like whoever plays her next, watch out. I guess it could be me technically because we're both 1-0. But so I guess I better watch out if it is me.
Yeah, watch out. I was surprised they both missed the Karate Kid question. Just must have been one of those things. Especially because Cobra Kai is the best show.
It was who played Johnny, right?
Who played Johnny Lawrence, and it's like,
it was William Zabka played Johnny Lawrence in what 1980s film?
Yeah.
I don't love that book. I've seen it, of course. Like, I've seen it's hard not to watch Karate Kid, but it's not one I grew up on. I watched it in high school.
Yeah, you're right. Just didn't miss it, but Beth did, and that's one of those ones that you're just like,
that was surprising.
That's what you should know. But it happens, right? There's just everyone has those gaps of just like movies that you think everyone knows. I think everybody, if there's 100 movies that everybody should know, I think everyone in the world will always have like those one or two that are just like I have idea.
A few. Yeah.
I have
a few super iconic movies everyone loves. Like, I've never really like watched any of the Indiana Jones. And that's exactly. Really? Yeah,
really?
I'm a huge Lucas guy. Like, I'm a big nerd guy, and you think that's right in my alley. It's one reason why I can't do IG. Like, it's just I never really got into it.
It's movies like Fight Club. I've still never seen Fight Club, even though it's actually in my collection here.
You never seen Fight Club? Really?
No, I haven't seen. Yeah, right. My friends still get shit for that one after all these years.
That's why you don't get all my Fight Club references. I drop them all the time.
There you go.
He's dropped like 4 of this match. You haven't even noticed.
Yeah. I keep on talking to Tyler. Jeez, he's right over there.
That one I got.
Okay. Can we talk about the most devastating second round ever? Like, both spun opponent's choice.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I felt so bad for both of them.
I was wondering the mindset of that, of just like, because if you're spinning first, it's like just kind of like, oh, that's a bummer. Like when you spin it, and like the elation of the other person, and then immediately for that second person to be like, oh, well, that's a bummer. Like when I spin it, so it's like I wonder which one hurts more, if you spin opponent's choice first or second in a double opponent's choice type of match.
I mean, I would feel like me feeling for Beth May, like we were going after she answered. I might get my numbers wrong because I don't have anything in front of me, but I believe Jess went second, and I think she was still like a couple points, like 2 points ahead of her before she even answered her questions. So I just told my friend who I work with, like my coworker, who has no idea what the hell I'm watching on my phone. And I'm just like, look, she's still ahead and she hasn't even done her second round. This is going to be a knockout. And I like watched it. He walks up just being nice. He's like, was it? I'm like, no, she got a bonus choice too. And it wasn't. So it was like the only way to even that out.
It's crazy, and that just shows like you can never count out anything, right? It's like for no matter the victory, because anything could happen with the round 2 wheel spin. It giveth and it taketh away, right? It's like it's the ultimate leveler. Sure,
yeah, I think it's about right.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it easily could have gone a lot worse with 2 opponents' choices. Like that's not something you see every day, and to have it happen in your first match, like, well, at least you got that out of the way now.
Exactly, so, and they like hopefully will never spin it again.
Well, also, what's the chances that the 2 rookies knew what was bad for the other person? And that's still like how it worked out. They both got bad ones. Like, I wouldn't know what to give, Soda if I'd never played him before. I'd be like, I don't know, give him war movies. And he could be like, really? Saving Private Ryan up here, buddy. Let's do this.
Yeah, that you are absolutely right, because that's the great thing about a lot of these rookies is that there's not a lot of game tape on all of them out there. So you really don't know. It's like, and then because you don't know what they put on the strength, it's like, what if they put on war on there? Like what if Jess put on war? It's just like, oh, you don't like, maybe she did. Maybe she's the biggest war fanatic, out there. So it's like, it's so hard to know what your opponent's thinking, especially in opponent's choice when there's no game tape and you just have to take a guess. It's like, usually I would say what they stuck with best with movie release dates is like usually a go-to safe one for opponent's choice, because like not a lot of people are good at that. And even if you are the best movie release dates person you just on the planet, it's just like you could always be like, oh, was that 93 or 94? Like, right? Like it's always between those two. And then so that's
and multiple choice means nothing. Whenever you go to multiple choice on those, it's always like, really? And they're like, all right, cool, 93, 94, 95, and 92.
Well,
like, wait,
why
did I ask?
I guess that's the thing. It's just
like, throw me off.
What was that?
The Oscar movie release questions throw me off because
those are always tough.
Because it's always the next year.
Yeah.
But it's like, which movie won the Oscar this time? And I'm like, well, that Oscars was in 94, so did it come out in 93? Or did it, like, those always mess with me? Like, which Oscar was it? Because it's always a year before.
I think when I was like a little bit younger, I tried to set out to like memorize like a lot of the Oscar winners. So it's like I was remembering the Oscar winning, years like 94, 95, 96, 97, and everything like that. But it's like, oh wait, but that's if I'm asked what year were those movies released, that's the wrong answer because it's the year before. So it's like now I have to try to relearn that. So those questions suck.
Yes, and kudos to anybody who can master Oscars.
Yeah.
I love the Oscars and I watch them every year, and I'm not good at that category. Like I thought I was,
Me too.
But then they asked those really weird ones.
This is the first year I was like, oh shit, there's an Oscars. Like I forgot about the Oscars.
Yeah, it's like
I like the Oscar. I like the Oscar picks this year just because we got to watch them all on streaming, so we didn't have to go to the local little theater that only plays one movie a week, and those are the only times I can go watch the Oscar movies now. It's like, oh, Sound of Metal? Yeah, watch that Amazon Prime. What's up?
on Prime. Easy.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the Best Picture nominees. I've only seen one of them.
I've seen a lot of them.
Like last year, I managed to watch all of them, but this year, because I forgot, I only saw Trial of Chicago 7.
Oh, I like that one. I'm going to do one Oscar tangent, and then we're going to go off. If Sound of Metal doesn't get Best Sound Design, I'm never going to watch the Oscars ever again, because I think that is the best sound ever in a film ever, Sound of Metal. It is the best sound design ever. So if it doesn't win it, I'm going to be like, F you guys. I'm out.
Yeah, I agree with you. But don't worry, I'm on your side.
I had to say it. I don't know. It's been in here for like 3 weeks. Okay, you said something earlier about not enough game tape on rookies, and I want to bring that back to playing Jacob London. Did you know what you were getting into playing him? Did you know, like, of the hype? Did you have an idea that he was going to be really good?
I knew he was going to be good, and I knew he was one of the top rookie prospects. But the problem with Jacob's game tape compared to mine is, like, my game tape is relatively easy. It's relatively simple. Like, it's recent is kind of what I mean by it. As opposed to, it's recent as opposed to Jacob's. It's like it's a few years old. So it's like even for the questions that he missed a few years ago, it's like those could have easily have become a strength, like no matter what. So it's like all London's game tape told me is that he was really good. Like he had a great base knowledge and he was winning matches 2-0 2.5 years ago. So it's just like, oh well, I can only imagine what his knowledge had moved to then. So that was scary.
Yeah. I have to like compare you guys, and I think somebody did it of like the Oyama Brendan the Kid Meyer match, and it was Harloff, and that's exactly it. And he did it before the match, so it's like, dude, don't give it that kind of praise. And at the end. Yeah, and he did it in front of you. Be like, all right, cool. Now I'm definitely gonna do bad.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't just say like, oh, top rookie. He was like saying like top rookie prospects is vibes of Oyama Myers. Like, oh god, I hope I do good.
Shut up. Yeah. It's like your friend telling the chick who sent you on the blind date, like he's amazing. Like, don't tell her that crap.
Exactly.
But then he was so right. Afterwards, it was just like that, where I'm like, London's gonna kill it later. Like, he might have lost, but he's going to go up against somebody who's 0-1, and I don't see him losing.
Yeah,
like, he's going to kill him.
If he plays the game that he plays today, and the way that I see it, it's like his Oscar questions were hard. And it's like I would have gotten them, but I would have had to check to multiple choice twice in order to get them. He did not have to. Like, he just kind of knew, except for the Amistad one. And so
which was hard.
That's the only one I got wrong.
Yeah, so that one's like a hard. It's one that I had to too. It's like
I had no clue. on that. I've never seen
it. Juwon Hansuf. I didn't think it would have been Anthony Hopkins for that.
Yeah, but it's like if there's someone like Blendon who's already so good at a category like Oscars, then you have to think that there's not a whole lot of other categories on there that they're really like, oh, I have a huge gap in Spielberg, like, or anything like that. It's like you feel like if you master Oscars, you kind of have a great breadth of knowledge for a lot of things.
You're doing pretty good. Well, it is one of those studyable categories, and by that I mean you don't have to watch movies to do it. Like, it doesn't hurt to watch movies, but that and movie release dates. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that everybody does that. It still takes time to do it. Absolutely. But I can just sit and spend the entire day not watching movies, studying either Oscars or movie release dates. But who does that? Like, not everyone's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna kill this. Bateman is the only dude I know who does crap like.
Because he knows, because that's why Bateman's such a smart player, just because he knows movie release dates is going to be a killer for maybe I should start studying movie release dates now that I think about it.
Probably should.
Like, if you master movie release dates, you just have such an ace up your sleeve for a lot of things.
You're welcome. I'm glad I gave you that piece of advice.
Great. When I win
points for me. Yeah.
When I win the belt, I'll be like, Taco told me because I should study movie release dates. So that's what
I'm even if you're a champion, I'm dropping you if you don't now. I'm going to be like, I don't want him anymore. He's a traitor. They're going to be like, all right, we'll pick him up. But
he's honest. I know you got to actually step away pretty quickly here, Jack.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, where can everybody find you?
I guess in the Schmoedown now. I mean, I guess I'm on Twitter. I guess I'm trying to get better at the Twitter thing because I really at jbancroft815. I'm on Twitter, so you can find me there where I don't post, but maybe I should start. So maybe I'll start doing that. And then, once I start getting on Twitter, oh boy, things are.
Watch out.
Yeah, I can't
wait.
I should
find more stuff to do. I should find more stuff to say. But anyways, thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Good luck with your future in the Schmoedown, and we will hope to see you again in the winner's circle.
Absolutely.
Keep winning.
Okay, just for you guys, I'll keep winning.
Sounds good, man. Thank you very much for joining. Bye.
Oh, what a horrible guy. Jeez, we had to put up with that for 40 minutes? Are you kidding me? Ugh, the worst.
Yeah, no, that was great. I love talking to him because he's very articulate and he's very witty.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. So now that he's not here, let's talk about the one match he didn't watch, which was.
I was gonna say, let's actually talk about his match because, oh my god, am I disgusted by that? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you want to get into Goddard GT?
Yeah, of course. It was the return of Little Evil after a 2-year absence.
He played in the horror free for all, and he played in the free for all 2 years ago, and I think he had one match that year. So in the 19, I think he had 1 or 2 matches. So yeah, I think around 2 years, maybe not like to the date 2 years, but like 2 seasons, like a full seasons in between.
Yeah, and he didn't miss a freaking beat.
He was great, and I'm really glad I drafted him in both my leagues. I love that I always have to bring up my leagues, but I'm really glad I did because he played like a beast, man. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people like to like us older legacy players or viewers who've been watching since before it was on like outside of the Schmoedown podcast, because I've been watching that long. He's still the goofball to me who like fails up. Like he's almost Makuga-y in my brain. And that is so wrong. It's not like that. He's a really skilled player. And I have to get that out of my head because he's right. He did drop McQueenie. He did drop the Beast. He did really. He's a good player.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was trying to tell people going into this. And like one of our own was saying, like they didn't expect much from the team. I'm like, but you can't sleep on this guy. Like, look how good he was before studying, and now you studying. Like, come on, and he showed it to us that he's someone you shouldn't take lightly because he's been gone too long.
Yeah, definitely not. And a lot of people like to bring up the old eras, like, oh yeah, Patriots did that in that era. Cool. You know what didn't happen in that era? Anyone else going 10-0.
Yeah.
Or 9-0. So you can't give it to that era, because if that era was that easy, they wouldn't be the only people who did that. They were the only people who did that, even in that era.
And
they are insanely good. And look at Snyder. He's still in singles contention up till today. And, not like right now, but he just had one. And yeah, so JTE, he hasn't missed a beat, and Goddard played his heart out, but JTE was like on fire.
Yeah, totally. I love really how calling it a JT me.
And then my wife goes, "Why is his name JTE?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So when he first started, he was JTI because he's an intern. I had to tell her the whole story, and then finally she's like, "So why is the repeat named after him?" Okay, so and that's it. The guy is history. He changed the league. Rules were made. Like, I don't know if rules were made, not just the JTE rule, but the knockout rule was made because Josh Makuga brought it up during a Schmoedown podcast after Mega Powers played the Patriots. And Mega Powers was Finstock and Makuga, and they beat him like 20-2 or like some crazy number. And because they didn't have the 10-point knockout rule yet. And Makuga brought it up during the podcast, and that's how that rule changed.
I did
a lot of people. Yeah, well, what's up, man? I've been watching for a long time. But, yeah, hey, looks, I'm not just a pretty face. Like, you guys brought me on here for a reason. You didn't know that. But you didn't know I was here for a reason. But no, like, that, and there was a different rule that came out other than that, too. Round 2 during teams changed because it was originally spinning twice and it being split in half, and they weren't allowed to confer. Yeah, it was completely different. And Makuga's like, why are we doing a team if we're not conferring during round 2? And Harloff was like, you're right. So that's why round 2 is the way it is now. And that's all because the Mega Powers got slaughtered.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't like my knowledge of the Schmoedown starts at the very first spectacular. I'm rarely the kind of guy who goes back and watches past sporting events unless it's like wrestling.
Yeah.
I watch something, but I didn't. I obviously knew about the JT because that happened while I was watching, but I didn't know about the other two. And it makes sense that it happened against the Mega Powers because
that was a bad match. Yeah, I was watching the Schmoedown movie show really religiously at that time, and I remember a lot of stuff from that. It was literally, I started watching it more during the Schmoedown because it was like it was like backstage before backstage, because stuff happened that changed the league on Schmoedown movie show. And that's what I thought SEN was going to be, which it isn't. But that's what I thought SEN Live was going to be, and I watched it for a long time. Yeah, but anyways, let's talk about this match if you want.
Before we do go into the match, though, I do want to say I do miss the Schmoedown because of stuff like that, and because it was once a week and it felt like must-see TV. But anyways, I digress.
It was great. It was great.
I miss it.
There's a lot of moments like the news and a lot of stuff that I just loved.
The one thing I do watch on a regular basis is drunk movie fights followed by Ken doing the news right afterwards.
Dude, Ken Knapsack. Like sometimes I think that he scored out of his league when he got Grace, and then I remember how great he was on Schmoedown, and I was like, nope. What happened?
Never mind, not allowed to say it.
Oh, cool. I'm glad I didn't read it quick enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah,
he just broke up with you, or no?
No.
No, we're good. So JT and Goddard.
Yeah. Okay. So, who did you have going in the match? Like, I had JT.
I had JT.
And the match, it played out exact. I'm sorry, Peggy. I put it up before I even read it.
We love you, Peggy. And she brought up something earlier in the chat, which we didn't talk about, of how we had Amaru Moses and her talk, and then we had Jacoby, so we had 3 of the Family 4 on our show. Yeah, you didn't bring it up. I'm not watching. I'm full screen, so if you're yelling at me in the private chat, I don't hear you right now. Like, I'm full screen.
I'm not the yeller of the group, but yeah, no, the match it played out exactly as I expected because Goddard is no slouch himself, and it played right down to the last wire, which was what I expected from the two of them.
Gen Boddard? Yeah, Gen Boddard's my second favorite Gen. But yeah, I really do like Ben Goddard, and I liked him since even before he debuted, just because I was watching a lot of SCN Live back then, and he is really good. But I can't rule out JT. And also, there was something that happened during backstage, and I know I like to get meta sometimes, but Goddard said something that made me think that he gave it away. Is he was down playing, or he was up playing JTE, and the way that somebody's like, well, he has a lot of ring rust, and he goes, ring rust ain't nothing. Like, I think ring rust is. I was like, you lost, didn't you, buddy? Mm. Like, and I had that in my brain, and I know I'm not supposed to read it that way, but I'll always now think like that because John Roca did the same thing the whole week leading up to his Collins match, where everyone had Roca. Collins is like a nobody at that point, unless you were a fan league guy, which I'm not. And he was saying, like, I think I got the hardest match for round 1. And I was like, what are you talking? He lost, didn't he? Oh, no. And then when he lost, I was like, you gave it away, buddy. Like, I knew that was going to happen just because of the way he was acting during the live shows coming up. And Ben Goddard kind of gave me that same thought. But
yeah.
Anyways.
One of the things I love is that right off the bat, JTE gave us a classic JTE, and he screwed up a name. And
he said like a sports guy, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it, Andy Dalton. Instead of Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, okay, he's back.
He spelled something off like right away too. I can't remember what it was, but like the R was in the wrong place or like whatever. Yeah, was it Frighteners? It was something where I thought it was somebody's name and he had the last name like a syllable mixed up.
Maybe.
But whatever, they let it. But let's talk. He missed 2 in the first round, right? And Goddard missed 1.
Yeah. And
they went in, but he got martial arts, and damn, girl, he killed it.
Yeah.
He slaughtered martial arts.
When he spun it, I was like, okay, he's going to do good because from what I know of JT, he's into those type of movies.
I didn't think he'd do that good. It's a hard category.
Of course. But it's also
got another
fun, so the questions probably were a little easier.
I couldn't get him. But, yeah.
Most of them. I can't remember.
I guess I'm really bad at that category. I like kung fu movies, but I didn't do too good. But he also, if we want to jump ahead a little, he got that again, but his 5-pointer was in black cinema. And I love black. I'm a huge blaxploitation or any type of exploitation movies. Like, I'm a big B-movie grindhouse guy from the 80s and the 70s, like, because I'm a big horror guy. So any low-budget exploitation movie, I love those movies. So I watched a lot of those movies like that growing up. And I do pretty good at black cinema, but just in general, it's not an easy category. We've been learning that this year, is that if you don't, there's a couple categories that if you're not trained in it, if you're trained in it, you'll do good. But if you're not, it's not going to be like a peripheral, category. Like comedies, everyone's going to watch comedies, right?
Yeah.
But you have to want to watch that genre, and that's why it's a really good, like, it can really kill you.
And the one movie in there that threw me off was Enter the Dragon, because I'm like, okay, that's it. Okay. I've never seen Enter the Dragon, so I was like,
it's the only one I did see, and the only guy I thought was like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, no, that can't be right. I thought he was in Enter the Dragon. I'm like, that's the one where he fights him, right?
And I
I
love
haven't
how
watched it in a long time.
cards. Like, yeah, I knew right off the bat. I just wanted to make him sweat. I was like, oh, that's classic JTE right there.
Oh yeah, JT me.
JTE, yes.
Didn't Goddard get a pretty hard category too?
He got Wizarding for what his
Oh.
5-pointer. He got Wizarding World for round 2 on a respin.
Yeah, and my it was a respin. Okay, yeah. I didn't know if it was. I was kind of talking to my wife at that point, and I didn't know how he got there. I didn't know if it was an opponent's choice or not, but because I know he would have probably picked that. My wife went perfect in it, so
yeah,
she loves.
I did up until
really
he directed 4, and the answer I gave was like, no, he directed 5 and everything after that. Shit,
that was a hard one because I know Christopher Columbus, and I know the guy who did 5 all the way up, and I know 3, but 4, I was like,
yeah.
Dang, I don't know that one.
Yeah, Mike Newell. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably my least favorite movie too. That's probably why I don't know it. I don't like Goblet of Fire that much. I liked it as a book, but I just don't like how that movie works.
That one's up there for me for movies.
Really?
Yeah. And 3 grew on me over the years because I remember the very first time I saw 3. It was back.
3's my number 1.
It was back before I really got into like movies. Like, oh no, I should rephrase that. Back before I really got into the concept of how you make a movie, and so I was just like, oh, there's so much shit missing from the book. This is fucking horrible. But then when I realized sometimes you have to do that for narrative's sake, whatever. And then when I rewatched the movie, I was like, this is actually really, really good.
Well, the dude's also a Best Picture winner, but it was afterwards. But I'm the exact opposite. I've been a movie buff for a very long time, and I've always really liked good filmmaking, and I've pretty much growing up, I've always looked at cinematography, which is really weird. But Harry Potter, I didn't read until I married my wife, until I got together with my wife, and it was because it was her nerdum and mine was Star Wars, and I'm never going to shut up about Star Wars, so I have to give Harry Potter its due. Yeah. So I got into Harry Potter later. And then I was like, wow, that's the third one's nothing like the movie. Yeah. But I do love how that flows. It's one of the best directed. Like the Patronus at the end, I still don't know if it's going to work. It's so well done.
It is. And like I said, it's just one of those things I didn't realize it at the time just because I didn't know that much about how to make a movie at that
Especially
point.
If you're a book reader first.
Exactly.
Why are they not going with it? Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm of the age of, I was the right age when those books came out.
I'm about to be 32, so yeah.
I'm actually a little bit older than you. I thought you, okay. But yeah, I'm a little bit older than you, so I remember when that one came out and my 8th grade English teacher read it to us.
What about the Deadpool shirt and the pops behind you? Behind me makes me think I'm old and I don't know. I thought I'd come off as a kid. I thought... Is it the dad bod? It's the dad bod.
35 is what I would have pegged you for, not 32.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't get that much, but okay. Anyways, this is a great tangent. Are we talking about something? It's a podcast about The Thing. Are we talking about The Thing?
Yeah. So JT squeaks out the win there. Is there any who do you want to see him play next?
Okay, now that's a hard choice.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking back, last month, I was thinking the big guys who are doing big wins in singles who are about to have number 1 contenders matches with your Rokas and your Batemans and other people I'm not even remembering because there's just so many matches this week or this year. Your Oyama's coming off of a win, and there was somebody else really big coming off of a win. Is it Irwin?
I don't think Irwin's
Roka, Bateman, Oyama, and Irwin. So Oyama might play Irwin, and there's just a lot of really big heavy hitters, and I thought that they were in their own little mini singles thing going on. But then you have these newer guys like Lon who just came off of a huge win against McWeeny, and now JTE's like, hey guys, I'm here and I'm ready to play. I don't know who you're going to give.
I want to see
upper echelon of singles is so high. I want to see him
in Lon because while JTE is one of the greats, it is his first match back. So I want to see him get a couple more in before we can put him in that category right now. But I would like to see him go against the delinquent because the last time he was in a match with Lon, it was the professor, totally different creature.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it feels like we've just seen that, and I know. I agree that he's a completely different character, but also his storylines moved with Lon so much, like they were on a team. Yeah. I love to seeing him play against somebody of this newer era, like Ben Goddard. It really seems like it's such an interesting matchup to see somebody who started in the age of studying the age of factions. Yeah. That I want to see him go against somebody like from this age who does really good, you know?
Yeah, well, based on that, I think Oyama would be a good matching for him.
Yeah, and I think Oyama is dangerous right now. You know, I think people are sleeping on him. I think he's got a real singles run in front of him. And but the same about JTE, he played really good. I thought it might have just been recency bias, but I thought after this match, like, if he makes it to a singles match, I won't be surprised right now. I mean, a singles champion match, I won't be surprised. Like, he's looking really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the into the singles tournament this year if he doesn't already by chance get a title match before that.
And in the teams, if anything, this shows us that him and Roka are a force to be reckoned with. We were worried about JTE being a weak link. He ain't no weak link. He ain't. Nope. He's going to play, dude. And I think that side of the bracket's theirs to lose after watching this match.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Okay, so do you have any other thoughts on the matches from this week before we log on?
Yeah, well, I thought we were talking about the thing, and why I say that is I was really happy to say JTE had a the Thing poster behind him, and I was like, I always had that DVD behind me. It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite horror movie. So I was like, really like, it's your favorite horror movie?
Yeah, and because of it's a good story, but also the
practical effects. Okay, yeah, the practical effects. And you know about the double amputee stunt? Yeah. The stunt. Oh my God! It's my favorite stunt ever.
I'm going to send you afterwards. Adam Savage, you know who Adam Savage is, right, from Mythbusters?
Yeah.
So in his workshop, he's got an exact replica of that spider head.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's creepy.
So cool. If I had millions of dollars, that's something I would buy. Like it just like.
And I don't mind the prequel. It's just the lack of visual of effects. Knowing that they did all the practical effects.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is if they didn't give it, but the fact they covered it up is so insult to injury. Yeah, that's like it's like the difference between not getting laid and thinking you're going to get laid and not getting laid. Like that's what it was. Like, but I thought I was going to get laid today. Like, why you bring up the practical effects if you're not going to give me the practical effects?
And if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, they do show the practical effects and they look great.
Yeah, and how gross is it that they purposely destroyed that entire cut? So we never will get that director's cut.
Bullshit.
We won't. They covered it. Like they Lucased it. You jerks. but I do oh my God, I am going on a Thing tangent. It was supposed to be a joke. But I do think a lot of people talk about the effects, but just I think John Carpenter is super underrated when it comes to his framing. He is one of the best directors because he always does these big wide shots and he's always showing you the room, and it's never like these over the shoulder looking at people. It's always making you live in the room, and he's such a good director. Anyways, what do we got coming up next week? I don't even know.
Well, we got on Sunday.
Free for all.
Yeah, it's the free for all coming up tomorrow after we record this, and then the other guys are going to be doing a show on Sunday about it. What are your thoughts going into the free for all?
We're doing it Sunday is when they're doing the free-for-all. Boo. All right. If they were doing it Saturday afterwards, I'd be able to get in on it. But I'm just jealous because I want to talk about the free-for-all. After it happened. It's really hard to talk about like doing a free-for-all preview because we don't know everyone who's going to be in it. And also they're so damn unpredictable. Like they are. The only thing you can predict is Bibbs doing good.
Yeah,
like because he always does good in them.
Yeah,
that's it. But we've seen the best players last one round.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that, and we've seen John Humphrey go 11.
It's still an unbelievable feat in and of itself. So is there any? So you don't have anybody who you pre thing going in?
This is.
It. Like I think Collins, based on what he did in last year's horror free for all.
Oh yeah, Collins is gonna.
He's got the better odds.
Yeah. Now, following last year's narrative, I want Blunden to get noticed because I want him to be our Brendan Meyer because he just came off this loss. But if he comes in, this is his chance to be like, hey, it was a fluke. Notice me. And that's when Brendan got his second match.
Yeah, that was 100%. And honestly, I wouldn't be upset if one of the rookies went all the way. Like, could you imagine?
I love it. I would love it. I would, especially, you know what I want? A 0-1 rookie to go all the way.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, if Loomis takes it, like or something like that, like somebody who we thought was entertaining, but we're kind of over him, just kills it, because these rookies, they're all drafted for a reason, and all of them are good. Like as far as I can tell, well, all right, one or two, and I don't want to bring up any names, but it really looks like a lot of them are really on fire, and there's a lot of really good rookies playing against really good rookies, and anyone could take this free for all.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, we're going to probably see the usual bibs there the whole round and all that stuff. But that's the beauty thing about the free for all, and that, like the transition a little bit to wrestling. That's why I like the Royal Rumble so much, which is what this is patterned on. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to win most of the time. It's always exciting.
So what's the difference between a Royal Rumble and a Battle Royale?
One of
them's like everybody in there and they're getting tossed
basically, out. Yeah, a battle royale, a traditional battle royale is all the participants start in the ring and then they just throw each other out until the last one's standing. Whereas a Royal Rumble, you've got two people that start and then every 90 seconds or so,
another guy comes in.
Yeah.
Yep. I want a battle royale for the Schmoedown. I think it would be great of doing like 20 people on stage. Like it wouldn't work here,
I'm
but
sure
like on a stage. Yeah, but that would have to be something you would have to do at least either in the studio, which I don't think they have a studio that big, or live. Like no one wants to look at 20 faces on their computer screen or their phone or however you're watching it.
Yeah, that would be too hard if you did it on Zoom.
But I do think it would be great if like, all right, because in the first round there's going to be 10 people tied for last and they're all gone. Like it would be you're just losing all these people at once. It'd be really cool. All right, anyways. Yeah, I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped for tomorrow. I have a non-Schmoedown watching friend of mine who I actually went and watched Mortal Kombat with today. I went to the theater, even though I had it on HBO Now. I still wanted to see it in the theater.
I would have. Honestly, if it was playing in my hometown, I would have seen it too in theaters.
I went noon today. I went matinee on Friday, and we're the only people in the theater. And I ate theater food because I missed it. I missed theater hot dogs and nachos.
Oh man, one of my favorite things about living in the city was going to the theater and getting like that type of stuff. Because in my town, it's just your basic candy and popcorn. But I remember when I moved to Vancouver, I went into the Scotiabank Theater downtown, and it's like, hey, fuck, there's a Burger King.
we had a place, our little local theater that you can go and see it's where I saw Birdman and Whiplash. Like that's where you go and see your Oscar movies. They serve beer all the time.
Oh, nice.
So I watched Birdman 2 days in a row, and at a tiny little theater when it first came out, and I got drunk both times. And I actually watched Birdman and Whiplash at the same day.
Oh,
and
that's a hard.
It was great, but it was so drummy. By the end of the day, I had beats in my head, but because Whiplash is about drums, and Birdman, there's that drum beat throughout the entire movie. But it was actually the first movies I ever reviewed on my old movie review channel. Mm. We went home after that and did both of them at once, and it was like my brain was mush.
I can imagine. I did the only double feature I've ever done is I did Predators. Predators, the one where they're on the prison planet.
Yep.
Afterwards, I did Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's my only double feature I've ever done.
I'm sorry.
I love Sorcerer's Apprentice. I love it. It's one of those guilty. You could classify under a guilty pleasure movie.
I used to during Oscar season, not this year, but other years. I have gone to the theater on a day off and done 4 movies, and I've done and I would buy them all at once. I would walk up to the counter and be like, oh, and I want one for this show, this show, and this show. And they always look at me weird. And it was me and a dude who I know from my past, but we don't really spin in the same circles. Mm-hmm. We'd always be doing that at the same time. So after the first year of us randomly running into each other doing that, because he's a big Oscar movie guy too, I started calling him like, hey, it's that time of year when you're doing the entire day in the theater thing. So we would sit next to each other and we'd catch up after like a whole year of not really talking, watching
fun.
4 movies in a day. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we padded it out to an hour and a half or an hour and 5 minutes. We did good.
Yeah. And with that, where can everybody find you?
I'm actually I don't have a big online presence. I'm not a guy like everybody else. I'm gonna have my own podcast on this channel soon, a Star Wars one, and with freaking Gold Leader, by the way. He's gonna be my co-host. I'm super pumped. We have the first show is gonna be Kylo Ren versus Qui-Gon Jinn.
You have a title? Did we decide on a title for it?
Let's taco about Star Wars. Let's taco about Star Wars. Yeah. I fought hard for it. I like threw that one out right away. And then Frenchie's like, what about this, and this? I'm like, those are fine. No. I'm like, I want to do this. Yeah. But I had this script written about a year ago because I thought I was going to be a Star Wars versus guy on YouTube. And I had an editor lined up and then he fell through. So this script has just been sitting on my computer for a year. And I have a lot of really ridiculous jokes in it. So, because I wrote it like it wasn't going to be a podcast. Oh, so there's a bunch of like really like, oh, Kylo Ren gets swallowed by a beast and cuts his way out. So we know he's at least as powerful as Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black. So, like a lot of like really weird jokes like that. And thank you. So we know he's as durable as Tommy Lee Jones.
Awesome.
You know, got to be next level durability.
He's the best.
But, yeah. So that's actually an online thing I can where it's going to be May 1st next Saturday, so a week from tomorrow is our date that we hope to premiere. So please watch that. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited. Kylo Ren versus Qui-Gon Jinn, and I think we're going to have a guest, but I'm not 100% on who it is, so I'm not going to say. But besides that, I'm actually a fine artist. I'm a painter. I use acrylic paint without brushes, and I paint on wood. And find me on my Instagram at Mark Taco Face. I paint cannibals and serial killers and cult leaders and stuff.
Right on. And then for myself, you can find me at soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on most of the shows on this channel as well. You can also find me over my other YouTube channel, Media Sweaties Network, where I do several shows over there. On Saturdays, we've got Get Sweaty. We've also got on Thursday Shooting the Breeze, which we just sit around and talk for like an hour. And then we've also got myself and Ben Rayner. We do Recap in the Past. Right now, we are doing Friends. And it's funny. I remember going into it. It's like, yeah, I don't think I like his Friends as much as I thought I did. And then now I think I binged 3 seasons in like 3 days.
How's your head doing?
It's yeah. Of course, it's got its issues. I get and I agree with a lot of the criticisms, but it's just it's fun and it's like a warm blanket.
I'm not a huge. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Friends, and it's because it's so not deep but good. Like that kind of stuff bugs me. Where it's like catchy music.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't like. But my wife loves it. So I know the entire timeline of Friends, and I know everything about Friends. But I do know that when she's on a Friends binge, her like vocabulary kind of like dampens, and she gets a little like weirder when she's on a middle of a Friends binge.
Yeah, me, it's my Chandler Bing comes out because I like to say Chandler Bing is my spirit animal because I relate a lot to that character. But yeah, no, it's like getting in a warm blanket. It's not a show I'm going to binge all the time. Like How I Met Your Mother is one I'll binge all the time. It's my favorite TV show. But Friends, every couple years, it's nice to just sit there and just watch because some stuff doesn't hold up. Like, dear God, it's very dated.
There's some dated stuff.
Yeah, and some of the jokes, like the LGBTQ stuff, can be a little sometimes.
Yeah,
but Ross is such a douche after the wedding.
I hate him. I hate like David. It ruined David Schwimmer for me, and I like other stuff when I know he's good and I know he's not bad.
Yeah,
I'm like Ross has ruined that actor for me because I watching it this time.
Ross wasn't always like that. He was actually a good dude up until around season 3 when he cheated on Rachel, and then season 4 when the whole Elizabeth thing happened, and that entire season it's just like, oh. Yeah, you're crazy. You're not a good person.
All right, we said we're going to say bye 4 minutes ago, so talk to you guys later.
Yeah, we'll see you next week on another edition of Schmoedown 9.